The signal that changed everything. Dr. Elena Santos stood before the massive quantum array at the Atacama Deep Space Observatory, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that stretched from floor to ceiling. The data streams flowing across the screen made no sense, and that's exactly what worried her. After 15 years of studying deep space quantum signatures, she knew when something was deliberately hiding in plain sight. "Director Chen, I need you to look at this," she called out, her voice echoing through the cavernous chamber. The facilities director, Dr. William Chen, approached from his workstation, his usual composed demeanor showing hints of concern at her tone. "What have you found?" he asked, adjusting his glasses as he studied the quantum readings. Elena highlighted a series of seemingly random fluctuations in the data. "These patterns, they're too perfect to be natural. Look at the periodicity, the way they shift just enough to appear as background noise. It's like watching someone try too hard to act casual." Chen's expression darkened as he processed the implications. "How long have you been tracking these signatures?" 3 months. At first, I thought it was an equipment malfunction. But she pulled up comparative data from multiple arrays across Earth's solar system. "These signatures are everywhere, Director. They form a network, and Earth sits at the center of it." The revelation hung heavy in the air between them. Humanity had just discovered they weren't alone in the universe. They were being watched. Within hours, the Atacama facility's quantum-secured conference room filled with holographic projections of Earth's top scientific and military leaders. Elena found herself presenting to an audience that included General Sarah Mitchell of the United Earth Defense Force, Dr. Raj Patel of the Global Science Council, and representatives from every major space agency. The network consists of approximately 300 quantum-cloaked observation posts, Elena explained, bringing up a 3-dimensional map of the solar system. Red dots illuminated like stars, showing the vast web of surveillance humanity had been living under. They monitor everything. Our communications, our technological development, even our quantum research programs. How did we miss this for so long? General Mitchell's hologram leaned forward, her military bearing unchanged by the digital medium. "We didn't have the right tools until now," Elena replied. "The new quantum detection arrays we developed for dark matter research accidentally revealed their presence. They never expected us to look for quantum signatures in that particular frequency range." Dr. Patel's hologram raised a hand. "The question is, what do we do with this information? If we confront them, we risk showing our hand. If we do nothing, we do neither," Elena interrupted, her mind racing ahead to the possibilities. "We have an unprecedented opportunity. They don't know we can see them, which means we can study them, learn from them, and prepare, all while they think they're the ones doing the observing." General Mitchell's hologram smiled grimly. "You have a plan, Dr. Santos." "I do." Elena brought up a new simulation. "We use their own surveillance network against them. We feed them exactly what we want them to see, a civilization following their expected patterns of development. Meanwhile, we build something they'll never expect." "And what's that?" Chen asked, speaking for the first time since the meeting began. Elena's eyes gleamed with determination. "A shadow civilization. Every new technology we develop, every breakthrough we achieve, will have 2 versions, the one they see and the one they don't. We'll build our future in the quantum blind spots of their own network." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They were proposing to deceive an advanced alien civilization, one that had likely been guiding the development of countless species across the galaxy. "The risks are enormous," General Mitchell said finally, "if they detect our deception." "The risks of doing nothing are greater," Elena countered. "Think about it. Why would an advanced civilization spend so much effort monitoring developing species unless they had plans for us? We're not just subjects in their zoo. We're pieces in their game. I say we change the rules." Dr. Patel nodded slowly. "We'll need unprecedented global cooperation. Every nation, Every major institution working in perfect synchronization. Then let's make history, Alina said, her voice firm with conviction. Humanity has always dreamed of reaching the stars. Now we know they're watching. So let's give them a show they'll never forget. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of activity. As Alina coordinated with scientific teams worldwide, a plan took shape. They called it Project Shadowplay, the greatest deception humanity had ever attempted. The first phase would begin with a carefully choreographed series of technological failures, nothing too dramatic, just enough to make their watchers think humanity was hitting expected developmental roadblocks. Meanwhile, in secured facilities deep underground and hidden in the quantum noise of their observers' own surveillance network, humanity would begin building its true future. As Alina watched the first pieces of their plan fall into place, she couldn't help but smile. The aliens thought they were watching humanity's story unfold. They had no idea they were about to become part of it. The board is set, she murmured to herself, watching as the quantum signatures of their observers continued their predictable patterns overhead. Now let's see how they handle a player they didn't know was in the game. Shadows of progress. 6 months into Project Shadowplay, Dr. Maya Patel stood in the heart of Facility Zero, 3 kilometers beneath the Himalayan mountains. The quantum-shielded chamber hummed with energy as her team prepared to test humanity's newest breakthrough. On the surface, the world appeared to be struggling with basic fusion technology. Down here, they were about to reshape reality itself. Quantum field stabilization at 100%, announced Dr. James Chen, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Ready for the first full-scale test of the phase shift drive. Maya nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. Begin the sequence. In the center of the chamber, a 2-meter sphere of twisted spacetime began to form. To their alien observers, the energy signature would appear as nothing more than background radiation, masked by the quantum noise of their own surveillance network. Field coherence holding steady, James reported. Ready for matter transmission. Maya touched her quantum-encrypted communicator. All stations, this is control. Commence Operation Leapfrog. Across the globe, in similar hidden facilities, other teams activated their equipment. They were about to attempt something unprecedented. The simultaneous phase shifting of 12 facilities into a parallel quantum state, completely undetectable to conventional spacetime sensors. The chamber's displays showed a cascade of green status indicators. One by one, each facility vanished from normal spacetime, their physical presence masked by carefully generated quantum echoes that made them appear unchanged to outside observers. Phase shift complete, James announced, his voice tight with excitement. All 12 facilities report successful transition. We're now operating in quantum parallel space. Maya allowed herself a small smile. This was more than just a technological breakthrough. It was humanity's first real advantage over their watchers. In this state, they could build, experiment, and develop without fear of detection. Director Santos, are you receiving our telemetry? Maya called over the quantum link. Alina's voice came through clearly, despite the facilities existing in a different phase of reality. Receiving everything, Dr. Patel. The alien observation posts show no sign of detecting the shift. As far as they're concerned, we're still struggling with basic antimatter containment. While the world above maintained its carefully orchestrated appearance of normal technological development, the phase-shifted facilities became humanity's true centers of innovation. Teams of scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, freed from the constraints of being watched. 3 months later, Maya stood before the Global Defense Council, her hologram projected into their secure chamber. Project Phoenix is proceeding ahead of schedule, she reported. The phase shift technology has been successfully miniaturized. We can now shift individual vessels, buildings, even entire cities into quantum parallel space. General Mitchell's hologram nodded approvingly, and the offensive capabilities. We've developed what we call quantum torpedoes, Maya explained, bringing up a simulation. They can shift between normal space and parallel space at will, making them completely undetectable and unstoppable by conventional defenses. One torpedo could disable an entire alien fleet without them ever knowing what hit them. What about the biological effects of phase shifting? Dr. Patel asked, concern evident in his voice. Fully resolved, Maya assured him. We can sustain human life in parallel space indefinitely. In fact, we've made an unexpected discovery. She paused, making sure she had everyone's attention. While phase shifted, human consciousness appears to operate at an accelerated rate. We're experiencing time differently, faster, than in normal spacetime. The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. Not only could humanity hide from their watchers, but they could also think and develop at an accelerated pace while doing so. There's more, Maya continued. We've detected quantum signatures similar to our phase shift technology in some of the oldest archaeological sites on Earth. Someone visited us in the distant past using similar methods. We're not the first to discover this technology. We're rediscovering it. Alina's hologram leaned forward. Are you suggesting that Earth may have had a civilization capable of quantum manipulation before? Maya finished. Yes, and I believe our alien observers know this. It might be why they've been watching us so carefully. They're not just monitoring our development. They're waiting to see if we'll rediscover our past. The chamber erupted in urgent discussion. Maya let them process the implications while she brought up another set of data. There's something else you need to see. We've detected massive quantum disturbances at the edge of our solar system. Something big is coming. The alien watchers had maintained their same predictable patterns for months, but now they were moving with purpose. Their observation posts were realigning, forming new configurations that suggested preparation rather than passive monitoring. How long do we have? General Mitchell asked. Maya studied the data one more time. Based on the current rate of quantum disturbances, I'd say 2 months, maybe less. They're mobilizing for something significant. Then we need to accelerate our timeline, Alina declared. Dr. Patel, how soon can we begin mass production of phase shift devices? We're ready now, Maya replied. The automated fabrication facilities in parallel space have been running at full capacity for weeks. We can outfit every major military installation and population center with phase shift generators within 30 days. General Mitchell's hologram stood. Begin immediate distribution. Priority to defensive installations and emergency bunkers. If they're coming to check on their quiet neighbors, we need to be ready to disappear completely. General Mitchell's hologram stood. Begin immediate distribution. Priority to defensive installations and emergency bunkers. If they're coming to check on their quiet neighbors, we need to be ready to disappear completely. As the meeting concluded, Maya couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. Humanity had accomplished more in secret over the past 9 months than they had in the previous decade of observed development. But would it be enough? The game was about to enter its next phase, and their opponents were finally making their move. First Contact's shadow. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the TSS Nightshade, humanity's first phase shift-capable warship, watching the massive alien fleet emerge from hyperspace. Their quantum signatures blazed against the backdrop of space, visible only to the advanced sensors humanity had developed in secret. 37 vessels detected, reported Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez from his tactical station. Configuration matches nothing in our database. These aren't the regular observers. There's something new. The Nightshade hung invisible in parallel space, its crew watching as the alien armada took up position around Earth's orbit. Their ships were works of art, crystalline structures that seemed to flow like liquid metal, each one larger than humanity's largest space stations. All stations maintain parallel space lockdown, Sarah ordered. Not a single quantum signature leaks into normal space. Let's see what they're here for. The alien fleet's arrival had triggered humanity's greatest disappearing act. Within hours of their approach, every major human installation and population center had activated their phase shift generators. To conventional sensors, Earth appeared almost abandoned, its cities quiet, its orbital facilities powered down, its military bases empty. "Commander," Marcus called out, his voice tense. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies. It's an invitation." The message played through the bridge speakers, automatically translated by their quantum AI. "To the silent children of Earth, we are the guardians of conscious evolution. Your silence has been noted. Your disappearance concerns us. Show yourselves, and let us guide you back to the proper path." Sarah's lip curled slightly. "Children." Of course. She opened a secure quantum channel to Earth Command. "General Mitchell, are you receiving this?" "We are, Commander. Stand by for Phase 3 authorization." Sarah turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Prepare for Operation Ghostlight." Throughout the solar system, hidden human ships moved into position, each one carrying technology that would have seemed like magic to their observers just a year ago. The Nightshade led the formation, its quantum engines humming silently in parallel space. "Authorization received." General Mitchell's voice returned. "You may proceed with Phase 3. Show them what humanity has learned during our quiet time." Sarah nodded to her tactical officer. "Begin transmission." The Nightshade broadcast a carefully crafted message directly into the alien fleet's quantum communication network, bypassing their conventional defenses. "Guardians, this is humanity. We accept your invitation for contact. Allow us to demonstrate our current level of development." Before the aliens could respond, human ships across the solar system activated their quantum torpedoes. The weapons phased into normal space for a fraction of a second, just long enough to disable the alien vessel's primary power systems before vanishing back into parallel space. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The magnificent alien ships, symbols of their technological superiority, suddenly found themselves drifting powerless in space. Only their emergency systems remained functional. "All targets neutralized," Marcus reported with professional calm. "No casualties. Their crews are unharmed, but they won't be going anywhere without our help." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Phase shift complete, taking us back to normal space." The Nightshade materialized among the disabled alien fleet, its black hull gleaming in the sunlight. One by one, other human ships appeared, surrounding the Guardians' vessels in a perfect formation. "Open a channel to their flagship," Sarah ordered. The alien commander who appeared on screen was humanoid, but clearly not human. Their crystalline skin and multifaceted eyes betrayed an entirely different evolutionary path. "Impossible," the alien commander said, their translated voice carrying both fear and awe. "You were meant to be centuries away from this level of technology. You should have considered the consequences of letting us develop while thinking we were being watched." Sarah replied, "Humanity has always performed best under pressure. Now shall we discuss the real reason you've been monitoring Earth?" The alien commander's crystalline features shifted in what might have been resignation. "You found the ancient quantum signatures. You know about those who came before." "We know enough," Sarah confirmed. "We know Earth was once home to a civilization that mastered quantum mechanics at a level that even you haven't achieved. We know they disappeared mysteriously, and we know you've been waiting to see if we follow in their footsteps." "You don't understand the danger," the commander insisted. "The precursors nearly destroyed reality itself with their experiments. That's why we watch, why we guide, to prevent it from happening again." Sarah leaned forward in her command chair. "No, you don't understand. We're not children needing guidance. We're the descendants of those precursors, and we've learned from both their achievements and their mistakes. Now, you have a choice. Treat with us as equals, or remain powerless while we continue our development without your interference." As she waited for the commander's response, Sarah couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The Guardians had watched humanity for so long, thinking they were the teachers. They never considered that their quiet students might surpass them. Legacy of the Stars. The central chamber of Earth's quantum assembly stretched a kilometer underground, its crystalline walls embedded with technology that bridged the gap between humanity's new achievements and their recently discovered heritage. Dr. Elena Santos stood before the gathered representatives of both Earth and the Guardian Coalition, the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. "The data your ships provided confirms our theories," Elena addressed the assembled delegates, her voice carrying across the chamber. "The precursors didn't destroy themselves. They transcended. The quantum signatures we detected in archaeological sites weren't remnants. They were breadcrumbs. They left us a path to follow." The Guardian Supreme, a being of living crystal who called herself Nexus, shifted uncomfortably in her specially designed chair. "You cannot be certain of this. Our studies of precursor sites across the galaxy suggest catastrophic failure of their quantum manipulation experiments." Elena smiled, touching a control panel that caused the chamber's walls to shimmer with ancient symbols. "That's because you were looking at the evidence through the lens of fear. You saw what you expected to see: the dangers of unrestricted technological development. We saw something different, a quantum evolution protocol, waiting to be rediscovered." The holographic display in the center of the chamber came to life, showing a complex network of quantum signatures spanning the galaxy. "These aren't random energy patterns," Elena explained. "They're a communication network, operating in a phase of reality your sensors couldn't detect. The precursors didn't die out. They shifted their entire civilization into a higher quantum state." General Mitchell, standing at attention near the Earth delegation, spoke up. "Which explains why you found no bodies, no remnants of their populations, just empty cities and powered-down technology." "Precisely," Elena confirmed. "And in developing our phase shift technology to hide from your observation, we accidentally took the first steps toward following their path. The accelerated consciousness we experienced in parallel space. That's just the beginning." The chamber erupted in urgent discussion, voices mixing in a dozen languages. Nexus raised a crystalline hand for silence. "If what you say is true, it presents a grave concern. The precursor's transformation could have unforeseen consequences for the fabric of reality itself." Dr. Maya Patel stepped forward from her position among Earth's scientists. "With respect, Supreme Nexus, that's exactly why we need to work together now. Humanity has proven we can't be contained or controlled, but we're not blind to the risks. We're offering a partnership, your experience and wisdom, combined with our innovation and connection to precursor technology." Commander Sarah Chen, still in her nightshade uniform, added her voice to the discussion. "Our ships could have destroyed your fleet, but we chose demonstration over destruction. That wasn't just tactical decision-making. It's who we are. We want to build, to explore, to understand. But we'll do it as equals, not as subjects." Nexus's crystalline form refracted light in complex patterns as she considered their words. "For millennia, the Guardian Coalition has guided developing civilizations, protecting them from the same mistakes that we believed destroyed the precursors. To change this approach would be evolution," Elena finished. "Isn't that what you call yourselves, the guardians of conscious evolution? Well, here it is, happening right in front of you. The question is, will you try to stop it, or help shape it?" The chamber's quantum fields hummed with tension as Nexus conferred silently with her fellow guardians. Finally, she rose to her full height, her crystalline form catching the light. "In all our years of watching Earth, one thing became clear. Humanity's greatest strength is not your technology or your intelligence, but your ability to turn adversity into advantage. Perhaps it is time for the Guardians to learn from those we sought to teach." "Then let's begin," Elena proposed, activating a new holographic display. "We've decoded more of the precursor quantum network. There are signals, messages, waiting for a civilization advanced enough to perceive them. We believe they're instructions, or perhaps invitations, to join them in their transcended state. But the mathematical and physical concepts involved, they're beyond either of our current understanding." Together, then, Nexus agreed, extending a crystalline hand in a gesture her species had copied from human diplomatic archives. The Guardians will share all we know of the galaxy's quantum physics, and humanity will show us how to see beyond our preconceptions. As Elena shook the crystalline hand of humanity's former watcher, she felt the weight of possibility pressing down on them all. The silence of Earth had led not to confrontation, but to collaboration. The students had become teachers, and the teachers had become students. "There's one more thing," Elena added, her expression growing serious. "The precursor network. It's active. The signals are getting stronger, more frequent. Whatever transcendent state they achieved, they're aware of us. They're watching our progress, and I believe they're preparing for contact." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just rediscovered their heritage or outmaneuvered their watchers. They had caught the attention of beings who had evolved beyond the confines of conventional spacetime. The real journey was just beginning. Transcendence Protocol. Deep within the quantum research facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Elena Santos stared at readings that defied conventional physics. The precursor signal had changed, becoming more complex, more urgent. Beside her, Nexus's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained excitement. "The mathematical progression is unlike anything in our archives," Nexus observed, her multifaceted eyes tracking multiple data streams simultaneously. "They're not just sending information, they're altering the quantum fabric of spacetime itself." Maya's voice came through the quantum comm, tinged with awe. "The phase shift generators across Earth are picking up harmonic resonances. Whatever the precursors are doing, it's affecting all layers of reality simultaneously." Elena felt it too, a subtle vibration in the quantum field, like reality itself was humming in anticipation. The combined research teams of humanity and the Guardians had spent months decoding the precursor messages, each revelation leading to new breakthroughs in their understanding of the universe. "All monitoring stations, report status," Elena called out, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. Reports flooded in from around the globe and across the solar system. The quantum frequency was building, creating patterns that seemed to echo the very structure of consciousness itself. The Nightshade, now serving as humanity's primary deep space research vessel, confirmed the effect was spreading throughout the galaxy. "Elena," Maya's voice carried a note of urgency. "The quantum signatures at the archaeological sites. They're activating. All of them, simultaneously." Ancient precursor sites around the world were coming to life, dormant technology awakening after millennia of silence. But unlike the Guardians' fears of destructive power, these activations brought something else: clarity. "It's a key," Elena breathed, understanding flowing through her mind like a river of light. "The precursors didn't just leave us breadcrumbs to follow. They left us the tools we'd need when we were ready." Commander Chen's voice joined the conversation from the Nightshade. "Ready for what?" "The next step," Elena replied, her voice firm with conviction. "They're not just contacting us. They're offering to show us the way. The quantum resonance, the phase-shifting technology, the acceleration of consciousness in parallel space. It was all preparation." Nexus moved closer to the main display, her crystalline form refracting the patterns of quantum energy that now filled the air. "You believe they mean to help us transcend, as they did." "Not just us," Elena said, turning to face her former watcher. "All of us. Humanity, the Guardians, every species ready to take the next step in conscious evolution. That's why they left the network in place, why they waited until we could all understand it together." The quantum frequency reached a crescendo, and with it came something new, a presence vast and incomprehensible yet somehow familiar. The precursors, or what they had become, made contact. Their communication defied traditional language, flowing directly into the consciousness of every being connected to the quantum network. They showed visions of what awaited, a state of existence where the boundaries between matter and energy, space and time, consciousness and reality blurred and reformed into something greater. They're offering us a choice, Elena announced to the watching world, her voice carrying through quantum channels to every corner of human civilization. We can remain as we are, continue our current path of development, or we can follow them, transform ourselves into something beyond our current understanding. General Mitchell's voice came through, steady as always. What are the risks? Unknown, Elena admitted. We would be changing the very nature of our existence, but we wouldn't be alone. The precursors are offering to guide us, to share their experiences and knowledge. The question, Nexus added, is whether we're ready for such a profound transformation. Elena looked around at the assembled teams of humans and guardians, all working together in harmony despite their different origins and past conflicts. I think we've proven we're ready for anything, as long as we face it together. The decision wasn't made lightly. For 3 days, the combined councils of Earth and the Guardian Coalition debated the opportunity before them. In the end, it wasn't the politicians or military leaders who made the final choice. It was the scientists, philosophers, and citizens of both civilizations who voted overwhelmingly to take the next step. Standing once again in the central chamber of Earth's quantum assembly, Elena addressed the gathered representatives of humanity and the Guardians. Today, we begin a journey that our ancestors could only dream of. Not an ending, but a transformation, a step into a greater reality. As she spoke, the quantum frequency built to its final peak. Around the world, across the solar system, and throughout the galaxy, those who had chosen to participate felt the change begin. It wasn't violent or frightening, but rather like waking from a dream into a greater truth. The silence that had once hidden humanity from its watchers became something else, a pause between heartbeats, a moment of potential before metamorphosis. As their consciousness expanded into new dimensions of reality, Elena's last thought in her original form was one of profound appreciation for how far they'd come. Earth's silence had not been an end, but a beginning. In trying to hide from those who watched them, humanity had discovered its true heritage and potential. And now, in partnership with their former watchers, they would explore realms of existence that even their advanced ancestors had only begun to understand. The future was no longer about watching or being watched. It was about becoming something more, together. As the transformation took hold, the boundary between observer and observed, past and future, being and becoming, dissolved into a new form of existence that defied all previous limitations. The silence was complete, but it was no longer empty. It was filled with the infinite potential of what was to come.